I've never felt more validated in my life.
For what?
So let's come back to you, though, Mr. Schroeder. So how much have you paid your gate agents to enforce your carry-on bag policy, to pick people out of the line like the chairman's video showed? I mean, you guys do appreciate that flying on your airlines is a disaster, don't you? I'm slightly amazed by the general attitude of all of you here. Flying on your airlines is horrible. It's a terrible experience. Yes. I mean, I say this as a father of 3 young children. But I can't tell you, nobody enjoys flying on your airlines. It's a disaster. You charge people fees that they know nothing about. You harass them to death.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Senator Hawley giving it to a couple CEOs about the carry-on policy. And let me just say this. I was right, and I'm always right. And that girl is a fucking so fuck you, too.
Oh, is this, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the story again? She told you to...
This fucking bitch.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I'm boarding a flight from JFK to Austin, and I'm first in line. I'm first in line to board.
Yeah.
And this bitch goes, "Hey, you're gonna have to check that bag." And I'm like, "What are we flying on a fucking regional jet from New York?"
How big? Hold on. What bag was it? Was it big? Was it a duffel?
It's my roller that I take
it's a roller.
on every single trip.
It's a classic sized carry-on.
It's an
roller.
overhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this fucking bitch goes, "Hey, you're gonna have to check that bag." And I go, "Really? What kind of aircraft are we flying on today?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm like, is it a regional plane? Because sometimes you do fly like the little puddle jumpers,
the Barbie planes,
where you check everything."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are we on one of those?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, you're on like a 737 or something." I'm like, "Well, this is the same bag I flew here with, and I fly everywhere with this bag." "No, it's too big." And I'm like, "What?" So, anyway, I have another employee from the airline with me there, and I go, "Why is she doing this?" And she goes, "Gate agents like rule this area. Like we can't speak over them, basically, right?" And I'm like whatever she decides is a thing, and I'm just like, "Why are you doing this?" She's like, "It's too big." And I'm like, "It's not too big." Anyway, you just give it up, which is what I did. You just go, "Okay."
Oh, that's terrible.
Hold on. So then I get on the plane, and I look, and I'm like, this is a standard overhead thing. So I ask again, I go, "Why did they take the bag?" Right? Now, they're just like, "She just decided to." But this informs you as to why. No, this informs you as to why. It's because the airlines are paying gate agents to confiscate bags. So they're giving them incentives. They're doing it to make money. So the fucking so then I went on Twitter, and I sat there and I just wrote, "What a fucking bitch, you fucking whatever." And everyone's like, "Oh, you threw a tantrum." I was like, it's not really, I didn't verbally accost anybody. I didn't physically assault anybody, although it would have been a pleasure.
Yeah.
I just wrote a couple tweets. People were like, "Oh, you lost your mind." I'm like, I didn't lose my mind. The point is, I was fucking right. She was just selectively taking a bag to make a few extra bucks, okay?
And your attitude here today seems to be, well, devil may care. There's nothing we can do about it. Well, I think we are going to do something about it. So how much have you paid people to pull out customers who are in line with a bag that's 2 centimeters too big, Mr. Schroeder?
Ooh.
Well, we recognize this is a hard job, and so therefore we incentivize them to do that.
How much?
It's $10 per bag.
Wow, $10 per bag. And I think, Mr. Klein, you and Mr. Schroeder, your airlines cumulatively have spent $26 million paying gate agents between 2022 and 2023 to catch passengers whose bags are a little bit too big. $26 million. I mean, if people want to know why it's such a terrible experience to fly, this is news for them today. Your airlines are paying millions of dollars to your employees to harass people who've already paid. They're there in line because they've already paid.
So I'm just saying, this is exactly what happened to me. And I just want to say it again. I was right, and you're still a fucking... Okay?
Wow,
Yeah.
vindicated. And may I say something else, Tom?
Yeah.
I would like to congratulate you for getting through that entire speech without choking.
Look at my nose.
And I'm sure the staff appreciates it too. No, that is sinister. I had no idea.
I know.
I didn't know. And I always hate that too, where they're like, we're gonna check the thing, and if you get, you're gonna have to check it in. It's like, dude, why?
But
What
the
are
whole
you
point,
doing
like,
to
the thing that people is that
Fucking
people are like,
assholes.
oh, some people get their back. It's like, yeah, it shouldn't have been taken though. It wasn't oversized.
No, and also you're like the first guy on
Yeah, I was like, shouldn't you see if someone else's bag doesn't fit later on?
later on because it stands to reason that you would have enough space to put it.
It's
like
insane.
even if it is bigger or whatever, but it wasn't. That is so. And those two airlines, by the way, that Senator Hawley is.
Oh my
they're
God.
hands down the worst airlines.
Yeah.
And I think you guys can. We're not going to say their names, but you can intuitively guess.
Oh yeah, you can figure it out.
You can figure it out. It's so weird how shitty they can be.
I know.
It's like that's probably the most dangerous form of travel and the most, you know what I mean? Like they should be.
I know.
It's
And
terrible.
this whole thing just works people up to like this whole world of like it's an abuse of power.
It
right?
is.
It's over. It's just now it's to fill somebody else's pockets up.
And then the holidays are here, and then these poor families are just trying to get across the country to visit grandma.
And they're gonna stick it to you.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
They'll stick
You
it to
flying
you.
with kids, and they're gonna fucking take away your carry-on when you need stuff for the kid in the bag, or
Yeah.
And then they just cancel your flights, and they're like, "Well, guess you're fucked. You're spending the night in Detroit or whatever." That was the worst part of touring for the last 20 years.
I know.
You would just get stuck in cities. I would get stuck in airports just overnight. Guess you're sleeping in Hartford. Like,
Crazy.
What? That's it? You're not gonna? They wouldn't rebook you automatically on another flight. Remember that shit?
Totally.
God, they're just
I was at one
such
time that we got
the worst.
we got derailed, like hey, we're not flying. Everybody was, and I was at the gate with all like 100 people, and they're like, yeah, they're canceling the flight, so tomorrow. And someone was like, well, where are you putting us up? And they're like, oh, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And this group of people got closer to the gate, and they're like, no, we are going to put you up. They
they got
switched.
the money.
I watched them switch. They were
Yeah.
just like, here's your vouchers. Here you go.
Oh, they have the money to put you up.
Of course they do.
Don't you worry about it.
Of course they
By
do.
the way, guys, if I were you and always look up, there's a lot of accounts on TikTok and places to find out hacks. Like if they cancel your flight, you're entitled to whatever
always a
voucher.
way.
There's always a way. Just look at these fuckers. They're ripping you off.
Ooh, hey Jeans, did you enjoy that highlight? Why don't you have one more click of fun around here? I don't know. Click here or here. Try it out. Have more fun. Why don't you subscribe? That way, every time a video drops, you can be notified. You can send it to your grandmother. You're not going to miss a moment of denim, okay? Try it out.